So overall, guys, wrapping up with the Orioles, it's gonna be a few years, I think, until they contend. But they're trending in the right direction, and they have a great GM, so they're gonna be in they're in good hands, like I said, and they've made a really good jump this year. So I'm really impressed with them, and yeah, I mean that's it with the Orioles. They're getting production out of guys who just come off the waiver wire. Iglesias, Malone, just kids like that. So it's really impressive. I'm really impressed with the Orioles. Moving on, next we've got my team, the Boston Red Sox. Kosei, we traded Mitch Moreland for two prospects, the 16th and 19th prospects in the Padres farm system. So not that much, really. I mean, I'm kind of mad we traded Mitch because this is a step away from contending next year. So I think that our GM's got to accept the fact that if you rebuild in Boston, people are not going to like you. You got to put a winning team on the field every day. And Moreland's a great guy to re-sign because he's great defensively. He's just overall underrated. And we got the 16th and 19th prospects for him. No pitching. That's kind of frustrating for me, but it's whatever. I was more frustrated with the trade when we traded Heath Hembry and Brandon Workman for Pavetta and Connor Siebold. That was kind of frustrating for me because, any team that trades away their bullpen assets usually isn't good the following year. I just don't know how we're going to be good next year when we trade away all of our pieces. A good bullpen, like Hembry and Workman are good bullpen pitchers, and you need those guys. We still had a decent bullpen this year, I think. But when you trade away guys like that, it's just hard to envision us having a good bullpen. It's just, and that's that. You know what I mean? So I'm frustrated about that. And we'll see what happens, but that just really pissed me off. I think Connor Siebold will hopefully be good and it'll help us out in a few years. Pavetta, his stuff has never been there. His stuff has been there. It's just he's got a terrible ERA. So maybe he'll turn around, but overall, I'm not really too happy about the trades that we've made. I feel like we need to stand pat, and then next year, regroup for a playoff push. Next year we're gonna have Evaldi, Erod, Sale back. Get one more starter, and keep if you kept Hembry, Workman, etc. You're looking at a team that could make the playoffs. So that's my opinion, and I'm doing that not only in the sense also that in Boston over the just given assumption, if you're in Boston, you're a GM, you can't rebuild because people are gonna hate you, and people are gonna send you death threats, and it's just brutal. If you don't put a winner on the team in Boston, you've got balls, man. So we'll see what happens, but we're not gonna contend next year, I don't think. Losing Martinez too, so it's frustrating, but that's that. Do I think we'll trade Vasquez? I would like to not see it. I hate when teams, unless we get a really good haul, something for Real Muto, where they got Sixto and Alfaro. I'm looking for something like that if we're giving up Vasquez. I don't want two BS prospects for Vasquez. Vasquez is one of the most underrated players in MLB. And I hope people know that, and I hope Heim Bloom knows that, so he doesn't make another awful trade. So that's that. Moving on next, we're going to move on to the Indians, who have been a really interesting team this year. They have basically, they've been really interesting. They lose Clevenger and Plesac due to the COVID health violations. They needed more power in the outfield. They just need more power overall in their lineup. I think Reyes helped them a lot getting Franmil. And it was smart to trade Bauer because they didn't need him. And you look at the Indian, you look at their bullpen. I just don't really know what they're gonna do, to be honest. Like, trade for people in their bullpen. They have that guy like Karnachak, who's been insane for them, and then they have Brad Hand, who I think is overrated, but he's still pretty good. I just don't really know where the Indians are going. They have great starting pitching. Obviously, they need help with their lineup, so I thought Mitch Moreland would be a kind of guy they're looking for to add to their lineup. But if you're the Indians, you need another bat or two to make your team a playoff contender, like a legit playoff contender. And when I mean another bat, I mean like a top tier bat, like, let's think, like Martinez. I'm trying to think of guys who like be on the trading block, like Jaden Martinez, just guys like that who like would really make your lineup exponentially better, because they don't have a good enough lineup right now to compete. So yeah, that's it for the Indians. The White Sox, I took the Twins from this division. But the White Sox have been interesting. They've been really good this year. Their bullpen has been great. I think Colome is a good closer, and I was happy they kept him last year. He's pretty good. Herrera has been like okay. Bummer is very good. They have a good bullpen. And then their lineup has been great. I mean, Anderson's been awesome. Moncada's been solid. Eloy having an all-star type year. Grandal has been okay, but when he's platooned with McCann, that's really lethal. Abreu's been great. They just have threats all around the diamond in terms of their lineup. Really, really good lineup. Really impressive what they put together. And their starting pitching, Giolito's been pretty good. Obviously coming off that no-hitter, really impressive. Keuchel's been like all right, I think. But Ronaldo Lopez has been okay. I wonder if Kopech will make another start. That'll be interesting to see. Or Dane Dunning. I'm wondering if they'll bring those guys up for the playoff push. That'll be interesting to see. In terms of the White Sox, I think you trade for like a Lance Lynn, another starter, or like Mike Minor, just to bolster your rotation, because it's not at that level that it needs to be a somewhat legit playoff contender. And then next we got the Twins, who I picked to win the division. They're only 1.5 games back, and I don't think they've played the same amount of games. They played one less games than the White Sox and the Indians. Do I like the Twins to win this year? I do. I still think they'll probably win this division. How about Dave Dobak, Randy Dobnak? Been absolutely incredible this year. Brios, not so much. Let me look at Brios' stats. Jose Brios. So Brios has, Brios 2 and 3 with 4.75. Yeah, so I was right. Not been great. I think Odorizzi's been like okay. Jake Odorizzi. I know their bullpen is really good. Oh no, Odorizzi's been terrible. Jesus. Wow, Odorizzi has an 8.1 ERA. That is terrible. And he's injured right now, so he hasn't been great. But Dobnak's been awesome. Kenta Maeda been really good too. And who's their fifth starter? Oh, Homer Bailey. Yeah, let me see how Homer Bailey's been. I think he's pitching all right. Homer Bailey. Yeah, he's in the 60-day TL. I didn't know that. But he had one good start. Yeah, so I don't know if you get another starter if you're them. They kind of have a bit of a depleted rotation right now, but I guess you can get another starter if you want. So that would be interesting to see if they get another starter. And their lineup is looking really good. The Donaldson contract isn't looking that great. I don't think he's had that great of a season. Let me check up on him. Josh Donaldson. Let's see his average. Oh no, he's been hitting 182. Jeez, I did not think he was. I know he started out really badly, but I don't know he's hitting that bad. Yeah, so he's hitting 182 and he's on the DL right now. He's got a lot of guys on the DL. The thing about their Twins is their bullpen has been magnificent. Rogers, Romo, who else is good in their bullpen? Can't remember, but their bullpen has been really good overall, and their lineup is great. Cruz has been awesome. Would be on the All-Star team if they had one. Same with Kepler's been great. Scope, Polanco, Garver, their whole lineup is just really solid, and that's what I expected from them, and they've came through on that. So I think if I'm the Twins, I do trade for another starter if I want to be a contender, but I don't know if they have the assets to do that. They have Kilroth and Royce Lewis, but I don't think he gave up those guys. Just too valuable. Moving on, next we got the Tigers. Really interesting here. The Tigers are 500. They've been pretty solid this season, which is really unexpected for me. But they're getting production out of like Goodrum, CJ Crone, Scope, Romine has had a great season. So random. Jacob Jones, good season. So it's good you're seeing some of those young players and like Goodrum, Goodrum, Jacoby Jones, playing well and producing. Also getting production out of Miguel Cabrera. That's good to see. If I'm them, and if I'm smart, I trade Crone and Scope for assets. Unless you want to re-sign them next year. But if you don't do that, man, then you trade those guys because you need to pile up those assets because this is an encouraging year for them, but you're still not there yet. So if I'm smart, I'm doing that. So I hope that they trade their assets and they liquidate, but overall I've been impressed with them, man. They're having decent starting pitching. They called Mize up. It's awesome to see him. He's got great stuff. He's going to be a great MLB pitcher, and their bullpen's been good too. Jimenez, maybe you trade him too. But if I'm the Tigers, what I want to do is I want to